Hiya! Welcome to my tutorial on the first steps once you have your world. Let's get into it. Okay, now of course the first thing you do is press on single player and join the world. Okay, so we are right where we left off in my last tutorial. So let's start with the first thing you have to think about, and that is making your first tools. Now for this you will need stone. Now some stone might not be hard enough for you to even make into tools. But if it isn't hard enough, you can just place it down, press shift right click on it, and if it says it's too weak, then you will not be able to make anything with it. And if it's good, you can, as you can see, select a recipe. Now we have an axe head, a hoe head, a knife head, a shovel head, and a spear head. Now the first thing you should do is make a knife head. Now as you can see, you will have these glowing boxes. Now what you do is, with your second stone, yes, you need 2 stones of the same kind, you will hit these blocks. Now once you disconnect a part, it will vanish. The idea is you need to nap out this shape. And we will also make an axe. If you're asking, you can also make arrowheads this way, but for that you will need a special stone called flint. Flint can be found in any biome with any stone, but it will look a little bit different. It will have, next to the stone kind, also a very more darkish looking stone. Now if you find flint, make your tools out of flint. Flint is better in next to all stones except obsidian, because obsidian has a less durability but does more damage. So do your spears out of obsidian if you have them. Obsidian also only spawns in basalt areas. Now also what you might have seen, if you press right click, you can throw your rocks as an improvised weapon. Now I am looking. Now this is a ruin. These will have, depending on it, loot boxes called storage vessels, but this one doesn't. Now let's say you have done it and made your first tool heads. These you can of course not use quite yet. So what you need to do with them is combine them with a stick in your crafting table, aka your inventory. Now getting sticks is not the easiest thing, because getting sticks, there are 3 ways you can do it. One is to pick them up from the ground. You will see them in forested areas just laying on the ground. The second way is to cut down a tree. For this you will, depending on the tree, need an flint or stone axe, or will actually, depending if it's actual hardwood, even might need a copper axe. And the final way, the way I will be using, is breaking leaves. So these leaves, as you can see, don't give me any sticks, because as you can see I'm breaking them right now. But what will give me sticks is something called branchy leaves. You can see they have, next to normal leaves, actual branches in them. Now also something to notice, these branchy leaves do spawn in trees, and they have one thing that makes them very unique. Next to normal leaves, you can stand on these branchy leaves. But branchy leaves are only natural spawning. Also, yes, normal leaves can give you sticks, but the spawn rate for normal sticks in normal leaves is not the highest, while in branchy leaves, unless you're, depending on your class, it is always a 100% chance. Now, let's make our tool heads into tools. So you drag them over, and as you just saw, you can't just put the head anywhere, you will have to put it above the stick. Where the stick and the head is, that doesn't matter as long as it is in this configuration. Also, as you might have seen, we got a birch seed. This we can plant to make another birch tree. This was because all of these leaves are birch leaves. Now, finding food in the first place is quite hard. I can tell you from experience, fighting wild animals can be and will be very hard. So, what you have to look out for is bushes like these. These are berry bushes, in this case raspberry bushes. And as you can see, I have my information up right now. If you are starting, I would say press Control B. If you don't have it on, you can see it up top. Control N. This will tell you interactions you can do, and you can do Control M for your micro editor. That is something you don't actually need to do. But yeah, watch out for these berry bushes. Also watch out for stuff like mushrooms. Those spawn in some mostly forested areas. And also look out for those. Now, also look out for cattails, depending if you are starting south, papyrus. Once you have your knife, go to them and left click on them to cut them down. You can also, without a knife, just break them down to get the cattails, but if you just break them down, the cattail roots will not stay, meaning that the cattails won't respawn and you will just have broken the cattail. You can technically do that. I always first get a knife. Now, why are cattails this important? Well, if you have seen the inventory, we don't have an inventory except our hotbar, but we want to change that. So what you do is make baskets. Baskets are made with cattails. So let's gather some cattails. Also, remember, cattails are not only the only thing you use to make hand baskets, which you make in this way, but also what you use to make things like your first chests. Now, as you can see, our inventory grew a little bit, and yes, if you take out something that has an item in it, the item will stay in it. Now, something that, if you're a new player, will be very important to you, next to those first steps I just showed you, oh, the rain stopped, will be the handbook. Now, I can tell you from my experience and how I started playing the game, you don't need the handbook. You can use the handbook, but it is something that you don't actually completely need. But what the handbook basically is if you press H, also as you can see up here, this is a pause game button, the game will be paused. Basically, the handbook is everything you need for every guide and every mechanic. For example, let's say prospecting, written down with, as you can see, just links to, if you click on it, other pages of the handbook. This is, as you might have noticed by the slider over here, quite a high collection because everything in the game is in there and explained there. So if you have something to search up or something you have that you want to understand how it works, then just go in your handbook by pressing H and write whatever you are searching, or what you can do is go into your inventory, hover over whatever it is, press H, and it will bring you to the site in the handbook where it is. So if you find something new you don't know how to use, just hover over it in your inventory, press H, and then you can open the handbook to it, and it will tell you what you can craft it into and what it is needed for. Also, once you start, you will see on the upper left a tutorial that it will ask you to do. You can also press H, and over here you have your first steps tutorial. I have to say, this tutorial shows you the way you will have to play Vintagestory. It shows you instantly that this game isn't something that you easily just spend a little time in. Also, be careful with your graphical settings. Your game might not look like my game. It might have to be set down quite a bit. Now, if you're asking, I'm running right now due to me trying to find this. Now, this is quite hard to see, but this is flint. You can see it by the slightly darker colored rock, if you notice it. Now, flint you can make, like I said, into arrowheads, and flint tools are more healthy. Also, this area where we have landed in is quite foggy as it seems. This is something you might find in areas. Also, if you're playing anew, don't turn on dirt gravity or cave-ins, because like you are hearing, the ground underneath you might just fall. This is a very foggy area. Very interesting indeed. I have never actually found such a foggy area. Now, what is something else you should prepare for? Well, that would be your first night. Now, in your first night, I would always say find a trader. Traders are people who will just live in little huts. It used to be that they lived in tiny wagons, but that has been changed, and they would give you help over the night. You could just sleep with them. But what you should do otherwise is grab your knife and find grass and cut it to get dry grass. Why are you getting dry grass? You are asking yourself probably. Well, with dry grass, if you hover over it and press H, you can see you can make, of course, many different things like a straw hat if you wanted, but also this hay. Hay is used for beds. So what you do is you go out, take this, put it like this, well, bam, you have one hay block. But you need 3 hay blocks. Oh, we have found something good. This is native copper bits. These are ground stones of copper. So what you should do is once you find them, pick them up. I always also put at least one down, or don't pick one up, to mark them down. Now, once you have, for example, found one, just go on your map by pressing M and then right click to add a waypoint. Now, once you have your sigil down here and click on a color, you will have suggested saves. So this means that if you, for example, put this on and then write poop, you can go over here, click on this, and it will again name it pop. Or to put it better, these names you put in will be saved, meaning that if you, for example, have a coloring system, you don't need to type in every time you have something. You can just take the color, take the symbol, and it will be named for you. So you have the highest consistency of it all. Now, we are still on our quest of getting our grass. Also, as you can see, our knife is slowly breaking. So, we should make fast pace. Also, something else you should look into is pressing C. If you press C, you will open your character sheet. Now, of course, you have your character, where you have your clothing, which you can take off, and also its condition and what it does. Yes, you can move this. And also your traits. Then your stats were like your diet, and down here, your environment. So you can see the date, the month, the year, the time, the temperature outside, so right now, the rainfall in the area, and the rift activity. All very important things to know. So, once you have enough grass, which we have right now, you have enough hay to make your first hay bed. This bedroll lets you sleep for 7 hours. Yes, 7 hours. The better bed you can craft will let you sleep for a little bit more time, and the best bed you can find is the aged bed. This bed can only be found in law buildings, but it is very good. This area is very foggy and therefore very hard to see stuff in. I am sorry that I ran in this kind of foggy area, but I think the fog is waning. Now, every so often you will hear music cut in, and yes, the music is important because certain music clips happen at certain moments. For example, at sunrise, sunset, and other stuff like that. Oh, also boars like those can be aggressive, so be careful around them, because if you didn't know, in Vintagestory basically everything and anything can and will hurt you. Now, we are in a forest right here. Like I said, you can find sticks that will just be laying on the ground, and you can just press right click to pick them up. And also here you can see some bitter bullet. Those are poisonous mushrooms. I know this from just exploring and playing the game. It is the funnier way. But of course what you can do is just hit Alt, and then your crosshair will not be there, and you will have your mouse. And then you can just hover over your food and then see, oh, it is edible, or no, it is poisonous. It will also say how long it is fresh for and other stuff like that. Mushrooms are a good starter food since they will hold in your inventory for long amounts of times. Also, if you're asking, clouds you can make into old school looking, so they will be more blocky and voxel like, which they were like originally, or you can make them more looking like I have them right now as volumetric. This is all vanilla. Also the sun you can make just a cube like a game like Minecraft, but I have it on more of this luminescent. Also the sun is going down. So the sun is going down. There are multiple things you want to do before then. One of them is put your dry grass here and put a stick under to make a torch. Now torches are, as you can see, extinguished, meaning that they would need to be turned on, which you can do with something called a fire starter. Now these things I'm talking about right now will be told to you in the starting thing. Also, I just lit this one because lighting things with torches is easier, since the fire starter takes food from you. Also, as you can see, smoke rises from it and the fire does like this. Also, yes, if you have a torch out while it's raining, the rain will put out the torch. And also torches who aren't in torch holders, which is a particular thing that you can make or find, without them in there, they will just burn out. Now, what you want to do before the sun goes down is cut down a tree. Now, cutting down trees in Vintagestory is different than for example Minecraft, because you will just try to break down one log, and as you can see, it will take a while. Now, you might think, oh no, taking down one block takes a while. No, it is just that once you break down one of the blocks, the rest of the tree will fall, which is something that you should know. Then, why are we cutting down a tree? Well, we want to make a fire. So what you do is first put down a dry grass by pressing shift right click, which you will see once you have control N on, and then you will put your axe above it to make firewood. Yes, you can have your axe in different areas to have them looking different, and then you just do this. So now you can just turn on your fire pit and tada, you have fire. Now over this you can cook simple foods, like for example meat that you got from hunting small animals, or fish that you got from fishing. Also up here we saw copper again. Like I said, copper nodes will be near each other, but now we are no longer in granite, but I will always at least lay one piece down. Now I'm laying 3 pieces down to notify this is a copper area. And also this is what I was talking about. This one darker one shows you that this is flint. Also, if you have Control N on, you can see it up top that this is flint. Flint is the most useful, but as you can see, this is claystone, and claystone you can't nap. This type of stone is too soft for napping, but you can still stack them like this. And this is also quartz if you were asking. Now, something to keep in mind when playing the game, and depending on where you want to locate your base, depending on where you are, the time will be different. For example, the more north you are, the longer the days are in summer and the shorter the days are in winter. Meaning that if you go to the polar areas, you will have one long day and one long night, depending on the season. While in more southern regions, to the very south equator region, the days will always be the same, no matter the year or the month. So yeah, that was the first part. Also be careful, most animals will be aggressive towards you. This means that animals like boars can be aggressive towards you. Wolves will always be aggressive towards you, but you can scare them off. And bears will also always try to hurt you. Also, something to remind, everything in this game wants to hurt you, and the game doesn't try to hide that. Meaning that, yes, see, this is why this can be a big problem. But yeah. Basically everything will try to hurt you, and that can be problems for you. Because stuff might look friendly while it's not. Also, this is, for example, rubble. Rubble you can repair. This is just lime, nothing more. Okay. Also, as you can see, dirt has different fertilities depending on it. Those are just important for if you go farming. But yeah, as you can see, the night is quite cool looking, and yes, if you press C, you can see in the night it will get colder than in the morning. But yeah, like I said, this lets you sleep up to 7 hours. So if we went to sleep at 22, we would wake up at, let me do the math, at 4 a.m. At which point the sun won't be risen quite yet, but this will be the transition for the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah. See you soon.